We all took journeys to get here. Journeys that started well before we frantically logged on to the Duke admissions page and received that life-changing notification. Each of us took a different path to get here, and while our individual journeys may differ, I believe they share common themes of adversity, sacrifice, and love. My journey involves 3 generations of women. It starts with one, Maria Hasso, who earned only a 6th grade education, and ends with one who received one of the finest educations. It's about the seemingly inconsequential moments and people that put me on this path today. My journey begins with my grandmother, or as I call her, my abuela. In 1946, in a rural town outside of Monterrey, Mexico, my grandmother lost her mother and had to leave school in an effort to help her family. She walked into a Kodak store with a help wanted sign, and the owner took a chance on this girl with hardly any experience and hardly any education. He taught her the business and eventually helped her open her own photography studio. Those years were difficult ones for her. She faced hardships that not many should have to, but somebody was there to lend a hand. He altered her life path, and ultimately, he altered mine. Much like my grandmother, we've all dealt with adversity. Sometimes it's been small. We got a C in a class, or we didn't get that dream job at Google or Goldman Sachs. And sometimes the challenges we faced have been much more difficult than that. We've lost friends that we thought would be here with us today. We lost family members that we always thought would be sitting up in the stands watching as we received our degrees. But we got through these hard times, both big and small. We had friends, family, and sometimes professors or RAs that helped us through. They held extra office hours to help us pass our classes, or they ate meals with us in silence just so we didn't have to be alone. Our lives were altered by these moments and the people that helped us through them. We'll face more adversity in our lifetime, and hopefully someone will be there to help us through. We'll also encounter moments where we might choose to help others through. In those moments, I hope we decide to take that on, for those instances of kindness and caring could change a life forever. My story picks up again in 1980 when my grandparents made the decision to relocate their family to the United States. Now, while my grandmother forged her own path in Mexico, my mother had to find her way in a new country. My mom, Adriana, had just turned 19. She had a high school diploma and a few college courses under her belt, but that all meant little the moment she arrived. She spoke little English, so she took a job in a hotel restaurant as a busgirl. There she worked alongside another young man named Byron, who helped her learn English, and she was able to practice with customers. As she picked up the language, she received several promotions and eventually left the hotel to do bilingual commercials for a furniture store, a store where she met my father. That young man who took the time to teach my mother English altered her life course, and thus altered mine. Life is filled with new beginnings, much like the one my mother faced when she arrived in the U.S. We all had one such beginning when we walked on to Duke's campus that hot and sticky August day. The random people down our halls and in our programs became our best friends, and they helped ease the transition away from homes we had known to establish entirely new ones here at Duke. The coming months will mark another set of these new beginnings. We'll start new jobs or graduate programs in cities all across the globe. I hope we find friends like the ones we found during our first weeks here. And I hope someone, like my mother's early friend Byron, is there to help us navigate these new landscapes. The final part of this journey is my own story and how I was able to graduate from Duke University. For one, I had a mother who put her own education on hold to make sure I could succeed. I also had a very loving father, Robert, who worked hard to put a roof over my head and food on the table, all by rushing home from work every night to make sure he could read me a chapter of the newest Harry Potter book. I had two exceptional older sisters who paved the path for me and showed me what success could look like. Yes, I worked really hard in the years that led up to me coming to Duke, but I doubt that it would have been enough for me without a family who encouraged me to attain the best education possible, especially when that wasn't the norm for many of the students in my community. Which brings me back here today to a stadium filled with people who gave us a chance. In this stadium are family members who put their careers on hold for us or came to unfamiliar places in search of better opportunities. Professors who opened their labs to give us unbelievable research opportunities. Mentors who offered words of wisdom when they didn't have to. Administrators who created programs like Duke Engage that opened our eyes to communities around the globe. There are Duke alumni who helped us get that first internship or job at their company, and donors whose contributions to financial aid put me on this stage today. We are surrounded by people that gave us opportunities to succeed. And within our own graduating class, there are friends who stayed up with us all night in Perkins, making sure we finished those midterm papers, or brought us cold medicine and coffee after a frigid night of tenting in Kayville. Today is dedicated to these people, both in and outside of Duke, whose faith in us put us where we are. I am forever grateful to these many people, and I am forever grateful to Duke. Class of 2017, today is about us and our accomplishments, but tomorrow is about someone else. Remember the role we can play in creating big days for others. We could give the young girl with a 6th grade education a chance, teach our coworker English, or provide financial aid to a girl from Dallas, a daughter of an immigrant, so that she can realize her dream of attending Duke University. I hope we strive not only to make ourselves successful, but to be part of the stories that make others successful as well. Congratulations, and thank you.